My name is Michele Madansky, and I'm an independent consultant. One of my clients is a company called Chegg, and Graeme will be joining me on stage in a moment. And we partnered with to do a study around college students. So those of you who are not in the United States probably have never heard of Chegg. Chegg started 10 years ago by an Indian guy who came to the United States to get his MBA. He came with $500 for the semester and then got his textbook, list of textbooks he had to purchase, and was overwhelmed by how expensive they were. And so he started a company which was a textbook rental company. In the United States, it's $200 to $400 to purchase a textbook per class. And so the name is chicken or egg. So do you need to get your college degree in order to afford to go to school, or do you have to, or do you have to be rich to afford to go to school, which unfortunately is the case in the United States. So Chegg is now a publicly traded company and reach 7 in 10 college students in the United States, from everything from helping high school students figure out where they want to go to school, helping them with scholarships, helping them with textbook and study help and finding internships. And of course there are ways for brands to engage with these students, from everything from putting sampling in the box to being on the website to sponsoring music on their campus. And we partnered with on this study, partly because of their specific interest in Gen Z, but also partly because of their focus on moments-based planning. And so the big insight that we wanted to get at is, how can brands support and engage college students in a memorable way during these key periods in their lives? And we also know from our research that college is a time in your life where you are more likely to adopt new brands across all categories versus any other time period, except for maybe when you have a first-time child. So within Chegg, we are lucky enough to have our own panel. It's called Chegg Heads, and we did survey research with our panelists as well as some friendship groups. You'll see a video of that. And one of the things we saw, this is all from social media, that college is full of firsts. So if you can read the stuff on the screen, this is people posting about getting into their first college, people posting about their first college football practice, and my favorite, the one on the bottom right, which is midway through my first dorm shower, and I realized I forgot a towel. So people are posting about all these moments, big and small, that are happening through their college career. And we asked in the survey, what are some of these momentous occasions that have happened to you? And we had a number of questions from the survey research, and a lot of these are about getting accepted to your first college, doing well, doing poorly on your first exam, etc. So these were the moments. Most of these are happening during your freshman year. But if we look at students from the first to the fourth year, we also saw some differences. So fourth year students is signing a lease for the first time. They're moving off campus. It is traveling with friends, whether that's junior year abroad or going for spring break for the first time, first college relationships. So all of these moments are things that can be associated with new brands. Graeme, you want to join me? So Graeme is going to join me and talk about, now that we know that they have these moments, how can we reach college students?
So when we look at their media consumption, we can see a very large rise, a substantial rise over the last 4 years, from 2011 to 2016. It rises from 38 hours to 56 hours. That's a rise of over 60%. And it's principally driven by what we could call digital or untethered media, things like online, mobile, and radio. And the only channel or device that's under pressure is television, which has basically fallen from 10 hours to 6 hours per week. And we can probe that TV number further to see what's going on. Basically, half of students have cut the cord. The main way of consuming television in the US is via cable, and 46% of university students are now watching their TV via streaming. So this is a major shift in behavior, and one we think they'll take into adulthood, and we think that trend is going to grow further. Now we can probe it further and look at subscriber video. The main subscription video service in the US is Netflix. About half of all adults subscribe to Netflix. And you can see the growth of this in the 4 years that college students stay in the US. In the US, a standard degree takes 4 years. In some countries, obviously, it's only 3. But in the US, it's 4 years. And it starts at about 14% pay for their own subscription. The majority are borrowing their parents' login. But by the time they get to the 4th, the most formative year when they enter the adult world, it's actually grown to 36%. Now, they take these views, these attitudes towards digital and towards mobile and all things untethered into their attitudes towards advertising. Students are less likely to notice traditional ads, at least their mindset is that way around. So you can see over the last 3 or 4 years how TV receptiveness, claimed receptiveness has dropped from 60% to 50, and we can see magazines having dropped from 48 to 20, quite a precipitous decline there. And the only one that's really risen is flyers on campus, the brochures that one sees on campus, and they've grown because of their relevance, and they've grown from 14 to 24%. Now, conversely, when we look at online or digital advertising, we can see the reverse pattern. There are 6 media here. They're ranked in order of their absolute growth rate over the last 3 or 4 years. You can see that online video sites have grown from 36 to 63%, and ads within mobile apps have grown from 27 to 47% there. When we get this type of growth, when we get this growth in what we could call mobile, digital, and video, we tend to see a similar growth in social, and indeed we do. But before we go into the numbers, we wanted to just show you a video of their attitudes about how and why they use social media.
I tweet a lot. I tweet a lot of my thoughts that I feel as though the world might enjoy. But honestly, it doesn't really have any substance to it. It's honestly just my passing thoughts. This morning I tweeted that my heart was breaking because my 2 favorite DJs are playing at the same time at Coachella. And I thought I didn't know how I was gonna make it.
I go on my apps for the news. I always go on the Snapchat. I know it's social media, but they have little apps that keeps you updated on news, like CNN or BuzzFeed or anything like that.
As of lately, I only really use Facebook, but that's because there's so many groups that I'm in. So it's more for work and all the projects films that I'm working on. So that's where I go to talk to people and see when events are, and so that's pretty much all I use.
Snapchat has stepped up their game this past year because as soon as they introduced the face filters, I feel everyone started using Snapchat.
I'll make a story once a week. I really I'll check out everyone's story probably every day, and then the Vice one. There's they have the news ones which are super cool.
You have to start to filter yourself because you want to make sure that it's okay for everyone to read, whether it's your family or it's PG-13 basically.
I post on my Snapchat story a lot, and then I guess it would be followed up by Instagram, and then I post on Facebook.
I post very occasionally. I have to make sure it's a really good picture so people see and I get a lot of likes.
So I'm not sure how good the sound quality was, but what we heard in that video is that students are using all kinds of platforms, but they're using them in different ways. Some are for communication, some are for just schedule management or kind of managing some of the groups they're part of. And the great thing about working with Chegg for the past 6 years is that we can really see some of these trends. So we've been trending social media usage for the past several years, and this is showing the changes over the past year. So adoption of new social platforms, and not surprisingly, the ones that have gained over the past year are Snapchat and Instagram. Yik Yak, I'm not even sure if you guys have heard of that, but that was on the radar for college students a few years ago, and now it's kind of gone, as has Vine kind of gone away. And when we talk about college students, they really are on the cusp of Gen Z versus millennials. So we did a deep dive on this is favorite social platform. The first chart on the left is looking at first-year students versus the fourth-year students. And you can see this is the difference between Gen Z and millennials. So Facebook, 38% of fourth-year students say it's their favorite platform versus only 17% of first-year students. And when we look at Snapchat, it's about the same. Instagram is a little bit higher for first-year students. So this is an area which continues to evolve, and really college students are trendsetters in terms of adopting new platforms and trying them out. If it doesn't work for them, they'll move on. One of the things we really try to say is, okay, now that we know that these moments are important, how can brands connect with students during these moments? And so this is actually a chart of brands that students have said have supported them during these moments during their college. Anything from Tide helping them do laundry for the first time to MasterCard when they're getting their first paycheck and spending money. And I'm going to hand it over to Graeme to kind of close this out.
So we just wanted to finish with one slide very quickly, why we think Gen Z matters. This comes from a book called The Hitmakers by Derek Thompson. It's a brilliant book on influencer marketing, and if you haven't heard it and you're interested in influencer marketing, I highly recommend it. And he concludes with Gen Z and he says, this is the group most likely to accept a new musical sound, a new clothing fashion, or a new technology trend. When you're young, every rule is illegitimate until proven otherwise. And because they have so little to lose, young people will continue to be the neophilic motor, the passionate new driver of change. Thank you.
Thank you, Graeme. Thank you, Michele.